Hey guys, Joe here with All Around Joe and the Get Better Project. Today I have a supplement review coming to you from Unbroken, also known as Unbroken RTR, which is real-time recovery. First things first, Unbroken sent me these products to review, but the review is 100% my opinion and the data that I've gathered over a month of trying out and testing the product in real-time training situations. Let's get right into it. What is Unbroken? Unbroken is an amino acid supplement, which similar to something that I've been taking called Perfect Amino, which you guys have probably heard me talk a lot about, is something that you would take instead of your other whey protein or protein recovery tool. This Unbroken is designed or ideally taken if you're working out a lot in the morning, after your workout or during your workout, and then again at night to get the optimal recovery. Now that is going to depend on how active you are, and you can go to their site, unbrokenrtr.com, and get information that would be right for your activity level. The way that I tested this was I have been wearing the Whoop activity tracker for years now, and I took a full month of data when I was taking the Perfect Amino, which is my normal protein amino acid supplement, and then I did the Unbroken for exactly a full month right after it. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at all of the strain, the sleep, meaning REM and deep sleep, and then how the recovery scores and HRV were affected by taking the Unbroken versus the Perfect Aminos. Before we get into that, what is in this Unbroken supplement? It is amino acids that are derived from salmon, and it also includes a couple of things like vitamin B, vitamin C, zinc, a couple other things that are designed to help you to recover faster. And if you want to get into some of the science of all this stuff, because there are some science and articles directly related to Unbroken, head over to their website and you can click on the science tab and then start to read about some of the things that they've done, and you can gather a little bit more information about exactly how they've tested it. Something that I should know that I really like about it right off the bat is that it has a 10-minute absorption rate. So assuming that you don't have any other proteins or fats in your stomach, this stuff is gonna get into your blood in 10 minutes, which is super fast, which is faster than the Perfect Aminos that I've been taking, which is much faster than whey protein, or if you're just gonna eat some protein as a food source. So that is super cool, because what that means is that you can have this after your workout, let's say wait 10 or 15 or 20 minutes, and then you can have a full meal, and this stuff is already gonna be circulating through your blood, helping you recover. It's not like when you take these other things that you wanna, wait 30 minutes or so before you get a full meal in. You can have the meal almost immediately after you've taken the supplement, which is very cool. During this month of testing and the month before, I was going through a regular Get Better Project activity routine, which consisted of 3 to 5 days of weight training, strength training, that type of stuff in the Get Better Project, and then another 2 to 4 days of mountain biking, anywhere from, let's say, 6 to 7 miles all the way up to like 30 miles per ride. So it was a very active time for both of the months. And I actually have the data to compare how much strain that I had month to month, and then how the recovery and sleep were impacted by that amount of strain. So I think a lot of times in a lot of reviews that I've done, you only have the subjective data. So I could say, oh yeah, I felt a lot better. I felt like I was gaining muscle, gaining strength, sleeping better, that type of stuff. But it's really cool this time because we get to add the data that I got from the Whoop in order to see if the subjective and the objective actually correlate. I would say that taking this, I felt pretty normal compared to how I usually feel when I'm taking the Perfect Aminos, maybe a little bit better, and I think that little bit better of feeling could have just been due to the added B vitamins that are in there. I know that when I take B vitamins, I tend to just feel a little bit better. So that was something that could have impacted. And then the rest of it, I think we just have to look at the data, because I didn't feel necessarily a super difference, but the data will show some very interesting things about how there was an impact going from month to month. So let's dig into that. Okay, so first things first, I think it's important to note the amount of strain that I went through from month to month. And I was able to gather that data from the Whoop website and pull out how much total strain that I have. So just so you have an idea, Whoop measures your strain per day in a 0 to 21 score. 21 being the absolute highest that you can get. So what I did is each one of the scores gives a range, and I took the amount of activities per the highest of the range and then gathered that, added them up, and then compared month over month. So for the month before I was taking the Unbroken, my total strain was 650.2. Then the month that I was taking the Unbroken, my total strain was 681.1. So I actually had quite a bit more strain built up the month that I was taking the Unbroken, which I'm really excited to have seen, because then it's going to make the data even more impactful when you see that there is a positive return on investment for taking the Unbroken. So we'll get into sleep first. Sleep, I almost always max out the sleep that Whoop recommends, but the important thing for me is getting the recovery sleep, so the REM and the deep sleep. And I actually only noticed, or the data shows, that I only averaged about 2 more minutes of total recovery sleep when taking the Unbroken versus the normal Perfect Aminos. And there's obviously tons of different factors that come into play, but because we can gather these specific data points, it does make it a little bit easier to determine whether something is working or whether it's not working, which I think is super cool. You know, because there are certain things that we can't factor into play when we're doing a review like this, but because we have this data, I still think it's very impactful to show what's working versus what is not working. So we had a total deep sleep before taking the Unbroken of 2 hours and 44 minutes per night, and then after we had 2 hours and 46 minutes per night. And then when I say deeper recovery sleep, I'm meaning deep sleep and REM combined. Where it really stood out, and what I think is the most important and interesting when taking the Unbroken, is, like I mentioned, I had quite a bit more strain during the month that I took it, and my recovery score via the Whoop app and Whoop strap went up from a 58% average recovery score to a 70% average recovery score when I was taking the Unbroken supplement, which is also an HRV of 76 before and up to an average HRV of 87 when taking the Unbroken. So to me, that is the biggest part of this whole review, is that I had more strain. My sleep was about the same, but for some reason I was becoming more recovered even though I had that more strain. My average recovery score up to 70%, which is in the green, and my HRV was significantly up as well, which tells me that for the 1 month, which obviously a longer review is going to give us more data, but for that 1 month, I significantly was able to perform at a higher rate, and it showed, right? I had more strain, so I was pushing harder and my body was recovering faster. So I think that is incredibly cool. Other things to note on taking the Unbroken is that for 1 bottle, which you have here, which is 10 tablets, which you're gonna go through actually in like 2.5 days if you're taking as much as I was, is gonna cost you about a little under $16 per canister here for 10 tablets. So what you're gonna want to do if you're gonna take this, I would recommend getting a month's supply. So you get discounts if you buy it in a month or bulk supply of this stuff. And you can go to unbrokenrtr.com, and I'll put the links for everything down in the description below, and pick this stuff up and give it a shot. And then I would recommend for you is taking your own data, whether you're taking a whey protein supplement or you're taking Perfect Aminos, whatever you're taking, hopefully you have some sort of activity tracker that's going to be tracking your sleep, tracking your recovery score, tracking your stress, all of that, and then see if it's working for you. So just going over this data myself, which I didn't track it as I was going, I just gathered it for this review, I'm noticing that it would be a great idea for me to continue putting this Unbroken to the test and continue taking it. So I do highly recommend that you try it yourself because it works. One side note is that the flavor, a lot of people, a lot of you probably are interested in, like, you know, does the protein shake taste good? I really don't care, so I'm not a good person to ask. It has this lemon citrus flavor. You can kind of maybe taste a little bit of fishiness or fishy burps after. It's not bad at all. I actually enjoyed taking it every single time I did. I wouldn't hold that against them. I would give it a shot. And I would say that who cares about flavor if you've got it wrapped up in your head that is more important than actually recovering better, then I think that you're coming from the wrong place. So give it a shot. Try out the citrus, Put it in your drink first thing in the morning. If you're a hard charger, have 2 more tablets right after your workout, or start sipping on it during your workout, and then right before bed have another one. And if you need less than that, I would recommend going to their website, unbrokenrtr.com, checking it out and seeing what they recommend for you. You should probably always ask your doctor before you get started with any kind of supplement or exercise routine, so that would be a good thing for you to do as well. But if you have any questions for me, I'd love to hear those questions. I can tell you what my routine was a little bit more in depth, or you can go and check it out for yourself at thegetbetterproject.com, and I'm gonna put all of the links down below in the description. If you like these videos, please give us a thumbs up. It really helps out our channel, and hit subscribe if you wanna see more videos like this and more workout stuff. We're gonna be trying to post it on a regular basis. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.